Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from coast to coast. This is Walter Hartley speaking with a special bulletin from the WINRAD Broadcasting Service. The war in the Middle East has entered its 17th day. A drone has set fire to the world's busiest airport. Israeli troops are crossing into Lebanon on the ground, and the President of the United States is threatening NATO. We take you first to our Washington correspondent, Edward James Whitmore. Edward?
Thank you, Walter. Good evening, America. President Trump gave a remarkable interview to the Financial Times today, in which he warned NATO allies that they face a very bad future if they do not send warships to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. He said he hoped China, France, Japan, South Korea, and the United Kingdom would all contribute vessels. He also floated the possibility of postponing his upcoming trip to Beijing to meet with President Xi Jinping, saying he would like to know whether China is willing to help before the summit takes place. When asked whether any country had firmly committed, the president said he had received some positive responses, but that a few would rather not get involved. So far, no nation has publicly agreed to send ships. The president accused Iran of being a master of media manipulation, claiming without evidence that Tehran is using artificial intelligence to fabricate images and reports of its war gains. He said the military operation is progressing wonderfully. The United Kingdom appears set to decline the president's demand for Royal Navy warships in the Strait. Prime Minister Keir Starmer is expected to instead focus on domestic cost of living support, offering help to British households that use oil to heat their homes after prices spiked. Greece has explicitly said it will not engage in any military operations in the Strait. Japan has said it has no plans to send ships. China called on all sides to immediately stop military operations. The president's coalition of the willing is, so far, a coalition of the hoping. Meanwhile, oil hit its highest level since July of 2022. Brent crude surpassed $106 a barrel. American crude topped $101. Gas prices at American pumps have risen 24% since the war began, with the national average reaching $3.70 a gallon. The European Union announced 458 million euros in humanitarian aid for the Middle East, with the EU commissioner saying Europe is stepping up while others step back. Iran's foreign minister said the Strait of Hormuz is open, but closed to our enemies, to those who carried out this cowardly aggression against us and to their allies. He added that Iran has no hesitation in defending itself and is prepared to continue the war for as long and as far as necessary. Back to you, Walter.
Thank you, Edward. We go now to our foreign affairs correspondent, Theodore Charles Bennett. Theodore?
Thank you, Walter. The world's busiest airport was shut down today after an Iranian drone struck a fuel tank near Dubai International Airport, setting it ablaze. The fire sent a column of black smoke visible for miles across the city. Dubai civil defense teams contained the blaze and reported no injuries. Passengers were evacuated to lower floors. Flights were suspended for several hours before Emirates announced a limited resumption of operations, with multiple routes canceled for the day. Some flights were diverted to Al Maktoum International Airport. This marks the second drone-related incident near Dubai's airport in 3 days, after 4 people were injured last week when 2 drones fell nearby. 1 person was killed today when a missile struck a vehicle in Abu Dhabi. The UAE has reported 6 deaths since the war began, including 4 civilians. Iran has fired more than 1,800 missiles and drones at the Emirates alone, more than at any other country it has targeted. Israel announced today that it has begun what it calls limited and targeted ground operations in southern Lebanon. Israeli troops are pushing into new areas farther from the border, targeting what the military describes as key Hezbollah strongholds. Defense Minister Israel Katz said hundreds of thousands of Shiite Lebanese residents will not return to their homes south of the Litani River until the safety of northern Israel's residents is guaranteed. He compared the operation to Israel's campaign against Hamas in Gaza. An IDF spokesperson said troops are operating ahead of schedule but still have thousands more targets to hit. 900,000 people have been displaced in Lebanon. Israeli airstrikes continue in Beirut's southern suburbs and across the south of the country, with 5 people killed and 7 wounded in raids on the towns of Majd al-Selm and Aitit.
Theodore, what is the situation across the wider region tonight?
Walter, the war continues to spread. In Iraq, 5 people were wounded after several rockets hit in and around Baghdad International Airport, including a facility used by the American Embassy. Iraq is now working to rehabilitate the Kirkuk-Ceyhan crude oil pipeline, which links its northern oil fields to an export terminal in Turkey, after all of Iraq's southern oil ports were shut last week following an Iranian strike on a tanker. That pipeline is Iraq's only remaining way to get its oil to market. Saudi Arabia intercepted more than 60 drones today. Bahrain, Kuwait, and Qatar all reported intercepting incoming projectiles. A new fire broke out at an industrial zone in Fujairah in the Emirates, following another drone strike. And strikes on Iran continued. Israel announced a new wave of attacks on Tehran, Shiraz, and Tabriz, targeting Iranian regime infrastructure. Iran's state media reports that a school in the city of Khomein was struck. Israel claims to have struck more than 200 targets in the past day alone. An Israeli army spokesperson said the military will continue to act in both Iran and Lebanon until its goals are achieved, adding that more targets are being generated every day. Iran says it has now fired approximately 700 missiles and 3,600 drones at American and Israeli targets since the war began. Iran's foreign minister accused Israel of ecocide, saying the bombing of fuel depots in Tehran has contaminated soil and groundwater with toxic pollutants and could have generational health impacts. More than 3 million Iranians have been displaced. Iran's internet blackout continues to deepen, with what little remaining connectivity there was dropping further on Sunday. More than 2,200 people have been killed across the region, including more than 1,400 in Iran, 850 in Lebanon, and several dozen more across the Gulf states. 13 American service members have been killed and up to 150 wounded. India has negotiated safe passage for 2 of its gas tankers through the Strait of Hormuz with Tehran's cooperation. And in a remarkable development, Israel claims it destroyed the personal aircraft of the late Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei at Tehran's Mehrabad Airport overnight. Back to you, Walter.
Thank you, Theodore. Thank you, Edward. Ladies and gentlemen, 17 days. The world's busiest airport set ablaze by a drone. Israeli soldiers crossing into Lebanon for the first time since this war began. The president threatening his own allies. Oil above $106, gas up 24%. No country willing to send ships. Iran says the strait is open to its friends and closed to its enemies. 700 missiles and 3,600 drones fired. 3 million Iranians displaced, 900,000 Lebanese displaced, 2,200 dead across the region, and the Israeli military says it has thousands of targets yet to hit. We shall continue to bring you developments as they occur. This has been a special bulletin from the WinRad Broadcasting Service. I am Walter Hartley. Stay close to your radio. And now, from the home front.
Hello, ladies. This is Dorothy Wilson. It is Monday night, and I know you are tired. So tonight, I am giving you something fast. 15 minutes, start to finish. 1 pan, almost no cleanup, sausage and peppers. You need a package of smoked sausage, kielbasa, andouille, whatever is on sale. Slice it into rounds about 1/2 inch thick. 2 or 3 bell peppers, any color, sliced into strips. An onion, sliced thin. 2 cloves of garlic, smashed. A tablespoon of oil. Salt, pepper, and if you have it, a pinch of paprika. Heat your oil in a big skillet over medium-high heat. Toss in the sausage rounds and let them brown on both sides. Do not touch them for the first 2 or 3 minutes. Let them get that nice crispy sear. Then push them to the side and add your peppers, onion, and garlic. Stir it all together. Cook it for about 5 or 6 minutes until the peppers are soft but still have a little bite to them. Season it with salt, pepper, and that pinch of paprika. That is it. That is dinner. You can serve it over rice if you have some cooked. You can pile it on a hoagie roll if the children want sandwiches. You can eat it straight out of the pan with a fork if it has been that kind of day. Nobody is judging you. The whole thing costs about $6 and feeds 4 people easily. 1 pan, 15 minutes, and the kitchen is clean before the children are done eating. That is what a Monday night calls for. Not a recipe that makes you feel like you failed before you even started. Just something hot and fast and good that gets everybody fed and gets you off your feet 10 minutes sooner. You take care of yours tonight, ladies. Good night, and God bless.